Alright, let's talk about DC's Harry Potter, Timothy Hunter, the Harry Potter before Harry Potter by 7 years. And bro's introduction to the magical world is way more OP than Harry shit was. But let's get to this shit. So we see Constantine, Dr. Occult, Mr. E, and Dr. Phantom up here talking about Timothy Hunter and how Timothy is a natural force for good and for evil for magic. They say it's up to them to channel that force for good and perhaps for magic, because he's also a natural force for good or evil for science too. And they also got to make sure that he doesn't fall into the wrong hands. So you see him at the bottom. They got a feeling that somebody's coming from, but they don't know for sure. And you see Timothy Hunter still going. This is where they all agree to work together to go find the boy and teach him the right way. So they get up and leave and go look for him. So bro skating down the street and shit. And while he was skating, that's when this dude popped up on us talking about some boy, do you believe in magic? He's like, huh? What the fuck is dude ass? A pervert? He ran from his ass. As soon as he thought he was clear, Phantom Stranger popped up on his ass. He's like, what the fuck? He got the fucking going on his ass. Then there was another one. He's like, what the fuck? They everywhere. So he dip off. He running this shit, right? Then he roll into in front of this damn magic shop. That's when he heard, gotcha. It was Constantine. He was like, man, who is y'all? Y'all the police? He was like, nah, we private operators. You got to be in this line of business. He was like, what? And he was like, bro, do you believe in magic? He was like, man, I want to believe in that shit, but man, you stop believing that shit when you grow the fuck up. He's like, you got to be stupid to believe in that. That's when Dr. Phantom was like, I'm not stupid. I'm going to ask you again, do you believe in magic? So you have to tell him like, yeah, as a kid, I believed in that shit, but as you get older, that you don't believe in that shit no more. He was like, well, that's because you got to look at that shit different. Magic is every fucking where. Basically, he's finna take him somewhere. But he asked their names first, and they got to tell him, he's like, my name is Dr. Occult, my name is Mr. E. He's like, Mr. E? He's like, Mr. E. He's like, did you make yourself up that name? He's like, look, you can't be, names got powers. Don't be asking people for power. I mean, don't be asking their names. He's like, bro, is this a joke? Is this Candy Camera or something? This is stupid for loonies. There's no such thing as magic. That's when he take his yo-yo and then he create his damn owl. This is where the owl comes in from. This is his version of his owl. This where he started believing, like, can I do that? He's like, yeah, we can help you with that shit, bro. Walk with me through this door. So this would be equivalent to when Hagrid took Harry through that damn place and he tapped on the wall and shit, or when they went through that damn wall and got on the damn train. This would be that. Because these motherfuckers go to the past. I'm talking about to the deep past. They went to the void, which was before the Big Bang, all that shit. But then he started fasting up time and shit. He's like, yeah, I need you to walk towards this thing over here. Do you feel it? He's like, man, that shit like Star Wars, bro. It's like, yeah, that's a strange way of looking at it, but that's when the angels fell. That's when he seen fucking Lucifer ass fucking falling from heaven and shit right here. These are the rest of the angels that fell with his ass. Then they also seen the fucking archangels. Uriel, who rules the worlds. Raphael, who oversees humanity. Michael, who is the set over chaos. Sarah Corel, set over the spirits. And Gabriel, who is the lord of the cherub of the Sephirah. And Ragel, to whom has been entrusted the vengeance of the Lord. Timothy was like, they're so fucking big. He's like, yeah, I know. Now walk over to this star right here. You see this star? This y'all star. It will be where it's supposed to be at and shit. All right, now bust this left real quick. You see this big ass fucking red thing? Yeah, this was your Earth when it was just a cooling plasma hanging lowly in the space, devoid of atmosphere or life. Then this the Earth right here when it was a concave dish inhabited by those of the old breed, the pre-dead. Or you can call them demons. Said that humans still dream of them and mistakenly believe that they be gods, occasionally manage to evoke them from their frame of reference into yours. Their time ended at the same time as in another frame of reference, the first life form crawled out the ocean. That's when the lizard people fucking roamed and then they ass died too. Then they go to like a form of fucking Atlantis that it was basically like Atlantis, but it wasn't. It was fucking after the waves washed it over. Do you see this old man right here? He was able to understand them and kind of see them and shit, but he couldn't. He tells us right here, if you pause and read, that basically Atlantis never really got it got destroyed in the fucking, basically in our mind. It's inside of us. It's just a symbol. It's a symbol of art. He said that the shit was the sunken land. It's lost beneath the dark sea, lost beneath the waves of wet black stories and myths that break upon the shores of our minds. Atlantis, the Shadowland, the birthplace of civilization, the fair land in the west that is lost to us, but remains forever, true birthplace and true goal. He said it's Lioness and Avalon and High Brazel, now about art itself and about magic. He basically tells them that there's a price for magic, and he told them to hurry up and take them to go see the other people, but that don't accept their offerings. They're all big, a whole bunch of big golden crooks. This where he takes them to go see the humans when they first was living in the caves using magic, the Egyptians using it, the Chinese, and the Greek. It was too much for him because he was learning it too fast. He felt like he was gonna throw up. That's when his ass took him over to this guy right here. It was Merlin when he was fucking 14 years old. And everybody else couldn't see or talk to them and shit, but he could because he's strong as fuck. He got demon in his blood. That made him a strong conduit for fucking magic. Then he explains to us that magic was also used with Alexander ass. Then he tells us that he already knows his future, and then in the future he gonna get captured by this girl and shit. Timothy asks him, if you know how your future and shit, why don't you change it? He tells him because there's a price to pay for that shit. That's when they left, and then he took him over to see another sorcerer. But before that, he wanted to know everything else. He wanted to learn it all. So right here is where he learns it all. This is the fucking Salem witch trials. And he was showing how the fuck they was getting fucked up and shit. He tells them that basically people, they fear they'll kill what they fear and shit. Timothy said this doesn't seem like there's any real magic anymore. Not like it was. Where did it all go? Where did magic go? He said magic was lost when the last vestiges of Atlantis sank, although misplaced would perhaps be a more precise term. Between the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages, many of the powers of fairy and grimoire left the planet for good, some for one place, some for another. And as science arose, it left little room for magic. He says, why? He says the difference in viewpoint. Science is a way of talking about the universe in words that bind it to a common reality. Magic is a method of talking to the universe in words that it cannot ignore. They too are rarely compatible. Timothy says, so what you're saying is that magic died out by my time. He said, no, but wild magic is a thing of the past. And since there's always those who would burn those who would perceive as witches, many true magicians adapted the new garments, adding recognition and avoiding. They basically started to hide themselves. And this is where he met Dr. Fate. Then they leave and they go to this damn theater and they sit down and they listen to Zatara, which is Zatanna's dad. And he get to explaining how while they was sitting there watching the movie, this when this dude right here came, Sergeant the Sorcerer. Just like Dr. Fate, he had an item that helped him with his magic. It was that damn jewel on his fucking head. And that shit, he got killed in the future. He got burnt or some shit. And he was telling him like, look, it got a price as he started to disintegrate into nothing, leaving the jewel. That's when Phantom Stranger was like, do you want it? And he was like, I don't know, bro. Then he's like, you begin to walk up into the path of knowledge, child. By the end of your path, you will have information to decide on what you want to do. So he tells him my journey. Basically, he tells him that he done showing him shit. But if he continue, he gonna be seeing monsters, saints, sinners, and freaks for more remarkable than anything you have ever seen traveling through antiquity. His journey has just begun. As he get back to Constantine, and Constantine said him that he finna go show him all to the rest of the damn sorcerers in the DC universe. And he asked him that he wanted his damn yo-yo, which is his owl, to come with him, which he did. And he put him on his shoulder and they dip off. You see this hand next to my head? This motherfucker said that basically he still wanna see, he say that they should kill him. And that's the end of issue 1 of this shit. We're 1/4 done of the story, but I'll come back and tell y'all part 2 later. If you want to know about part 2 sooner, let me know in the comments. This for my people on YouTube. People on TikTok, you got to come to YouTube and let me know.